Hi, everybody. This is episode 13 of the Ego Buster approach to playing the game we all love called horse racing on the big day, Whitney Day. So, all smiles before we start to play, anyway, right? All smiles. But I was thinking, like, I'm not doing anything with the racing form, I'm not handicapping, so I'm free of that, which is really good. But I'm still handicapping, but I'm not handicapping data. I'm handicapping in my mind how I want to approach today. And it's like a painting, it's like you're creating a story. You're being a director. You're directing your mind into a day, and you want to simplify it as much as possible. You want to make it as simple as possible, and you want to make it anxiety free. And eliminating my ego and not using horse racing data has allowed me to have different eyes, different, eyes with the binoculars, so to speak, where, I'm constantly focusing on, making it more narrow and more doable. So like today we have 13 races, so that's the picture. That's a lot of races. And you might have been playing other races during the week, so you might be overwhelmed going into the day. Well, if you're overwhelmed going into the day, I feel bad for you because you got to be a ninja when you play this game. And this is a 13 races in this card. And so my first order of business is to, in my kung fu, so to speak, and making sure that I'm crystal clear and knowing what I want to do. And obviously, free time because no horse racing data, but picking the race is the number one goal, or picking the couple of races that you want to entertain, possibly playing. And the first and the third, second, third, fourth, and fifth. I wasn't thinking about playing initially. Um, Definitely thinking about looking at the fourth because it's a 12 horse field. Um, the fifth would be a pass. The sixth is of consideration because it's a 10 horse field made in special weights. The seventh is a possibility, uh, and the eighth is a possibility. Um, the ninth was going to be a pass. The 10th, 11th, 12th were going to be a pass. So it's crazy. The again, uh, my approach is looking for uncertainty. The stake races, the big race of the day with probably 7 horses. Those races are going to have more predictable outcomes. And for me, where I'm playing the dime super, to play races like that, it's, it's a bad idea because you can't make any money. So the ninth, the 10th, the 11th, and the 12th, and maybe even the 13th, because um, uh, but I'm not sure yet about the 13th. But definitely the ninth, 10th, 11th, and 12th. The 10th because it's a 7 horse field, the ninth because it's a stake, and the 12th because it's a stake. Um, whereas to make money in dime super, there's too much predictability involved in that, and the results show it time after time. Last week too, the same thing. So again, so I've narrowed it down now where I'm not looking at 13 races. I'm looking at possibly 4 or 5. Um, and but I wanted to come out and talk about, the fact that, I'm not handicapping horse racing data, but I went into the shower and, I usually stay in the shower a pretty long time because I love the hot water. Uh, you know, I'm 70 years old, and that hot water and just the whole cleansing thing is really an extremely enjoyable experience. And my mind, gets soft and feels good. And, so I'm thinking, again, I couldn't believe the force of certainty, that a horse player has to deal with. Meaning that even if he wants to look for value, they keep going back to certainty, certainty, certainty. Um, because it's natural for you to do that. It's natural for you to look for certainty. I did for 40, 35 plus years. But then I realized that, all I'm doing is being Mr. Clean and washing money. I'm not making any money here. So that's why, I went into the, looking at, drawing the picture and looking at the picture completely different and looking for uncertainty, like yesterday, a lot of uncertainty, great racing. Last week, same thing on Friday. It was all week. Saratoga is just for the game that I'm playing, which is dime supers, big fields, chaos, craziness. The possibility of weather changing. I want all that. That's going to make me feel good. I come back and it's raining there, and it's been formful all day. That's great news because now the narrative changes because people are going to stay with favorites, 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 certainty, certainty, certainty. But I'll be looking for the possibility of where is the bomb going to go off? Where is the bomb going to take second? The bomb take third? Have a super that's almost $3,000 for a dime. Where you have to make a hefty bankroll purchase, to play the race. But the reward is phenomenal, and the possibility of the reward being possible is clear in your mind. But I was amazed when I was in the shower how the force took me away from that for a moment, and I got so mad, with myself for a moment, saying, "Dan, that shit just can't." But again, I realized I've been programmed for 35 years to think certainty, certainty, certainty. I know, I know, I know. Now I'm reprogrammed my brain for the last 6 years to do this new approach, but that other guy is always over there. He's he's not on the playground, but he's on the property. And once in a while, he shows his face, and I just have to kung fu his ass the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? Still. And I guess I'll have to do that for a little while, which is fine. But again, my head isn't being filled with, data, horse racing information, thoroughbred, time, form, speed, pace. So I'm anxiety free with that. I'm going the speed limit 23 miles an hour in a 25-mile speed zone. I'm not doing 85 like you guys are doing now. You're doing 85 miles an hour. What time is it? It's I can't even see the time. Let me check the time out here. It's 8 o'clock. So people are handicapping like crazy. 13. I mean, it's gonna take hours and hours and hours to do that. I don't have to do any of that. Again, I gotta just keep myself together. I gotta remember that this morning I felt that today could be a perfect day for me. I just, when I was dancing, my dance was perfect. I've been doing that dancing for 25 years and the rollerblading for the same amount of time. So when I see that I'm feeling the way I dance or the way I rollerblade, with that kung fu, and they match, which isn't something that happens that often. Um, I have to capture it. I have to capture it. I have to try to put myself in a position where I can be in the right place at the right time. That's all. That's my only uh, goal of the day is can I pick the right race to be in the right place at the right time where I can make a couple of pennies and get lucky and get paid. But most importantly, to just have an enjoyable horse racing experience. But you're not addicted to the game. You're not like bam, bam, bam. Like all fucked up because you are insane. I want more. I want more. This guy here too, right? It's too much. So I'm gonna leave soon. So I'm gonna get ready to leave, and I'll come back. After 1 o'clock. I'll have all my crystal clear clarity boards done for those races that I'm thinking about. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna listen to Talking Horses to see if they give any golden nuggets, and just get golden nuggets from the show. uh, but nothing to do with the predictable races, more to do with the races that, people are going to be intimidated by or high uncertainty. Like the 14th race, my God, the odds board is, you look at that, I've never seen an odds board like the last race of the day. I mean, there's not one horse pimpled out to, like 20-1. Every horse is between 3-1 and 12-1. The longest shot on the board is 12-1. I've never seen that before. I don't know how you can make an odds board that tight. That means that circle is going to blow up. That circle is so tight, and I'll explain more about that later. That's blown me away. I know that. That's race 14. And then again, like I said, passing the Whitney, it's going to be a 7-horse field probably. The 11th race passing, 10th race passing, and 9th race passing. And passing the first 3 races, and then possibly looking at the Mojo on the 4th. So until then, talk to you soon. Bye now.